Of all the dreams we cherish, the attic treasure fantasy is one of the most persistent and delightful. It's the hopeful whisper that tells us the dusty old painting we bought on a whim, the tarnished silver locket from a flea market, or the stack of books in the basement, might just be a hidden lottery ticket. We watch shows like Antiques Roadshow not just for the fascinating history lessons, but for that vicarious thrill, the heart-stopping moment when a seemingly ordinary object is revealed to be anything but. For one lucky guest, that fantasy didn't just flicker on her television screen. It burst into vibrant, life-changing color. She arrived like so many others, carrying a piece of her life and a healthy dose of curiosity. In her hands was a bright, energetic painting, a whirlwind of color and personality. She knew a little about its history, just enough to make it interesting, but she had no idea she was about to have her world turned upside down by expert appraiser Deborah J. Force, all thanks to a spur-of-the-moment decision made over 3 decades ago. The story begins, as so many great treasure tales do, at an auction. This wasn't a high society affair at Christie's or Sotheby's, but the Cherry Auction, a place of community, clutter, and the potential for a diamond in the rough. The guest recalled the day vividly. Among the myriad of items up for grabs, this one piece stood out. It came with a tantalizing backstory. It was a donation from the personal collection of the iconic publishing magnate, Hugh Hefner. To prove it, the lot even included the very issue of Playboy magazine in which the artwork had been featured. "We were at the Cherry Auction and decided to go ahead and bid on it," she explained to Force, a hint of nostalgia in her voice. "There's a certain magic in that kind of decision. It wasn't a calculated investment or a collector's targeted acquisition. It was an impulse, a connection to a piece of art that simply spoke to her. A bid was placed, then another, and before she knew it, she was the winner. The final price? A modest $300. For 35 years, it had been a cherished part of her home, a great story to tell at parties, but its true significance remained a mystery. As Deborah J. Force began her examination, a hush fell over the set. Her expert eyes scanned the canvas, taking in every brushstroke, every splash of color. The first words from her mouth were the validation the owner had perhaps unconsciously been waiting for. "It's an authentic Leroy Neiman." For those unfamiliar with the name, Leroy Neiman wasn't just an artist, he was a cultural phenomenon. He was a very popular artist, Force began, her voice painting a picture of the man behind the canvas. Originally from St. Paul, Minnesota, and studied here in Chicago at the Art Institute, Neiman's genius was his ability to capture the kinetic energy of the world around him. He didn't lock himself away in a quiet studio. He plunged himself into the action. His claim to fame was his vibrant, almost explosive, paintings of major sporting events. He was a fixture at the Olympics, the Super Bowl, and heavyweight boxing matches, his sketchbook and palette capturing the sweat, glory, and motion of the moment in real time. His work was a who's who of 20th century icons. He painted legends like Muhammad Ali and Frank Sinatra, and he was the artist who captured the raw determination of Sylvester Stallone in his iconic role as Rocky. Neiman was the artist of the American spectacle, and his unique, colorful style was instantly recognizable. Force then delved into the painting's specific history. He was an illustrator for Playboy magazine for about 15 years, she explained, connecting the dots of the owner's story. This wasn't just a random piece. It was part of a significant chapter in the artist's prolific career. The painting was made for an article about his travels to Morocco. The title of the piece is East Meets West. The artwork itself was a brilliant cultural snapshot. It depicted a young, modern American woman set against the backdrop of a traditional Moroccan woman, a visual dialogue between two worlds. Published in the January 1970 issue, it perfectly encapsulated the era's fascination with global travel and cultural exchange. It was a piece of history, a time capsule rendered in Neiman's signature electric hues. However, the appraisal wasn't without its concerns. Force, with her meticulous eye, pointed out that the artwork's condition was fair but not perfect. Over the years, the matting inside the frame had slipped down, obscuring a critical element, Neiman's signature. "You need to definitely have this taken out and repositioned," she advised kindly. A hidden signature could drastically affect an artwork's value and authenticity. She also noted a slight bulge in the paper. Perhaps they can also flatten that bulge. These were not criticisms, but rather a roadmap to restoring the piece to its full glory.